Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm Gamesplaining 5211 Azul. Now, I have not managed to read anything about the title of this game. I have noticed that on BGG it's under 5211, not Azul 5211, but 5211. I'm assuming it's 5211, not 5211 or any other version of those numbers. The reasoning that title exists is because you start with 5 cards and you play 2 cards, then you play 1 card, then you play 1 card. 5, 2, 1, 1. And that is pretty much the game, to be quite honest with you. If you have played the other Azul games, this will kind of make sense. I had a huge issue with reading the rules and getting this to the table. In fact, we played through it once and then we looked at it, I don't understand what this is actually talking about. And we read through the rules, I don't understand. Someone else read through the rules, I don't understand. We started looking stuff up. Eventually someone looked at the rules and discovered that the thing we didn't understand was in the introduction of the rules. I have a huge problem with that because the thing that we were not understanding was how many points is a rooster card worth. So let me put it in perspective. The way the game plays is you have your 5 cards, you play 2 of the cards face down. Once everyone's got their 2 cards down, you turn them over. Then you play 1 more card face down, turn it over. 1 more card face down, turn it over. Once you get to the end of that 4th card on the table, you are refilling your hand, by the way, each time. But once you get to the end of that 4th card on the table, whichever color at the table has the highest number of cards is the winner, unless you go over a certain number. And that number depends on how many players there are. The other thing you've got to watch out for is if there are these rooster cards. I believe that in other languages they're called something else, but that's okay. The rooster cards have a certain number of them as well. If you hit the exact number of them, then the rooster cards win and every rooster card at the table becomes a scoring card. So when we got to the end of the game, we had a whole bunch of these rooster cards, no idea how to score them until we discovered this ruling, which is in the introduction. And I really struggle with that because surely it should be part of the finish of the game, this is how to score idea. I fear that sometimes designers, production companies, whatever you want to call them, whoever is responsible in the end for it, just go, oh yeah, that's how we always do it. Without actually thinking someone who's never played this game before has to learn how to do this. It's one of the things that really irks me. Yes, the ruling is in the rulebook, but it's in the wrong spot. Sure, I don't mind it being said at the beginning, but to be honest with you, with a ruling like this, it needs to be in the main rules. I generally don't even read that first stuff, just because I just want to know how to play the game. I don't really care what all the story behind a game is or whatever. So I've got into a habit of not even bothering looking at that. In fact, I generally start reading rule books from this is how to set the game up. So anything that's written before there, while there may be some important stuff, if it's super important, it should be repeated in this is how to score at the end of the rulebook. So look, that's just a little irk that I personally had when I was playing. We had to play it a couple of times. Fortunately, the game is quite short, so we're able to get through the game a couple of times relatively quickly. And this is the big benefit of this game as opposed to the other Azul games, is that it plays really quickly because everyone kind of makes a decision relatively fast and puts it down. Now, the only thing you need to bear in mind is the numbers of cards. There's 3 different tables in the rulebook that tell you different things. So the first little table tells you how many cards to get rid of. So depending on how many players there are playing, you'll get rid of a certain number of cards and not use them at all. In the 4-player game, it's none, but it might be 10, it might be 13. You'd need to look at that each time. The number of rooster cards, which is the perfect number of rooster cards, is the number of players plus 2. The limit of the top end of any of the other card colors is the number of players plus 3. And so if you go over that limit with the number of that color that's at the table, you go over that limit, those cards aren't getting scored. They don't go into the score pile. You go to the next one down. And it's using these rules to your advantage, which is going to win you the game or not win you the game, because you can see what everyone else is kind of working towards. You have no idea what's in their hand, but you can kind of have an idea usually from the first couple of cards that are played. They're going after that color okay, on the second last, so if you've got one card left to play, if it looks like someone's going to get that, it might be worthwhile just feeding into it to push them over so that your colour can be scored. Or if you're looking at that and you go, okay, I've got a pretty good score within that colour, maybe not using the extra card of that same colour is a useful thing because it means that it won't go over that limit. So look, I've really enjoyed playing this game. Once I kind of got my head around those couple of rules and of having to kind of go, oh, these are the numbers, these are the numbers. Once you're playing the game, it's actually relatively straightforward and easy to remember because it's just stuff that's happening. You do need to keep your eye on how many of something. The other thing to watch out for is if you have equals of the lead, they're not going to win. The next colour down is going to win. So look, keeping your eye on all of this stuff all the way around the table and how many cards are out and all that type of stuff, it's pretty important with this game. In terms of how does this feel against other Azuls, look, it's a card game. Yes, it uses similar mechanisms, but it's actually called 5211. It's not called Azul 5211. So while they use the similar ideas, they don't use the same mechanism of having to take the tiles and if you don't take tiles out of that card and push them into the middle and all these other things that go on with the other Azuls. But it also goes for a heap less time on the table. And so I found that this can be quite a good scratch to the itch of the Azuls without really having to get deep into the Azul thing that goes along with it. So look, I think that I'll leave it there. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be gamesplained, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.